Hello and welcome to News 6 Extra. I am streaming executive producer Thomas Mates, filling in for Julie Broughton. She will be in this evening for News 6 meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. Before we get to anything else happening today, we just got huge breaking news. A new pope has been elected. We're going to take a live look right now at the Vatican, where we are awaiting for the new pope, whoever they may be, to make their first appearance. It takes about an hour, typically, after the election for the new pope to make their first appearance. We were alerted to the election when white smoke started billowing out of the Sistine Chapel just about 20 minutes ago. The papal conclave began just yesterday, and already we are seeing the election of the new pope. Of course, this comes after the death of Pope Francis. Pope Francis, seen as a progressive among Catholic leaders, and it is with anticipation where people are wondering whether the next pope, the next pontiff, will in fact carry on that tradition of progressiveness, or if he will go back to a more conservative, traditionally Catholic way of leading the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. Again, we are waiting right now for the new pope to make his first appearance. The Swiss Guard is marching in the Vatican right now. If I can get a live shot, here we go. Oh, that is not it. I apologize. But we are waiting for the Pope to make his first appearance at the Vatican. When that happens, we will bring it to you live on air and on clickorlando.com. But we're waiting for that to happen right now. Again, a new Pope has been elected. The papal conclave is over, and we are awaiting the arrival of the new Pope. Now, locally, we are experiencing weather alert day. We are expecting a lot of rain, and and we could even see some severe weather, and it's not going to stop it today. We're expecting to see much more severe weather in the coming days. News 6 meteorologist, the weather wonder woman, Michelle Morgan, joins us now with more on that. Michelle, thank you for waiting patiently. I apologize for the breaking news, but we obviously can't control when they're going to elect a new pope.
Oh, yeah, no, of course, that is breaking news, and I'm glad you covered it all in one breath. It was a lot.
It was breathless.
It was, but you know what? We do have a lot to talk about in terms of weather because we were again experiencing a pretty significant dry streak across central Florida, and it looks like that has now come to an end where we're getting those daily high rain chances. And of course, with the rain, I mean, many of us here that has lived in Florida for so many years, we know most of the showers, the thunderstorms, hit or miss. Most are sea breeze driven, so it's really the luck of the sea breeze, and that's going to be once again the pattern today and for the next several days. So today is a weather alert day because a few of those thunderstorms will have the opportunity of turning strong to severe. And when we're looking at the time frame, we're looking at 3-4 o'clock this afternoon, lasting through tonight around 10. And with those stronger thunderstorms, they could produce small hail. We would say either nickel, quarter size hail, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, certainly possible. Heavy downpours, and again, you get that heavy downpour in your area and it's just constantly raining. We could see minor flooding with that in those low-lying areas, and then frequent lightning is always a threat with thunderstorms. So right now, as we take a look at the radar scan here, scanning the skies, all is quiet. You wouldn't even think we're expecting scattered showers or thunderstorms later on today. So enjoy the quiet weather right now because things will get rocking later on today. So here's the severe weather risk for pretty much all of Central Florida, highlighted in green. So that is a marginal risk, a level 1 out of 5, as you can see on the legend there on the banner. And we just talked about the threats: medium chance for lightning, strong winds, hail, and then the flooding tornado threat, fairly low, but we can still see the chance for rotating thunderstorms. So we'll have to watch that very carefully as we go about today. Make sure you're staying weather aware. Also, the excessive rainfall outlook, also looking at a marginal risk where these areas highlighted in green may see some minor flooding, especially along the roadways, some ponding. And then tomorrow, we're also looking at an excessive rainfall threat here for areas east of the I-4 corridor, along I-75, and then the coast there, or I-95, excuse me. So I do want to show you the setup as we go through the next several days or so, the atmospheric moisture will continue to increase, all thanks to an area of low pressure that is going to form over the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to have our winds out of the south. That's going to also increase the humidity. And then when the sea breeze is going, all of the interaction will see scattered showers and embedded thunderstorms. Temperatures are warming up into the 80s here, 85 in Orlando, Sanford, DeLand, 86, 90 in Titusville, and 87 degrees in Mico and Melbourne. Winds will continue out of the south and southwest as we go through today between 5 to 15 miles per hour. So, not excessively strong, but still strong enough. And because of the direction of the winds, that's going to increase the humidity. Your hour by hour forecast, planning your day, rain chances continuing to go up through the rest of the afternoon, this evening, and then most of the shower and storm activity should begin to dissipate later on tonight, seeing a daytime high of 91 degrees. And yes, we will be above average once again, normally around that 87 mark. So many of us will be in the lower 90s. That includes Ocala, the Villages, Leesburg, Claremont, and along our coastline, staying in the middle to upper 80s. So nonetheless, we are looking at a toasty day ahead. So make sure you're staying hydrated. If you're working outdoors, make sure you're taking frequent breaks. Just staying out in the sun too long, you can certainly feel a little lightheaded at times. So your clouds and rain forecast here, looking at those showers and storms beginning to fire up as we go through the 2, 3 o'clock hour. And then as the day progresses, look at this. We're beginning to see a lot of those reds, those oranges, and some purples. So we could see a hail core with these stronger thunderstorms, meaning these storms will have the opportunity of producing some hail as we go through today. And you continue to see some purple popping up on your screen. The metro area could potentially see a good soaking rain as we get closer to the 6, 7, 8 o'clock hour. And then as we go through tonight, the sea breezes will continue to go, and then most of the shower and storm activity is expected to be pinned along our coastline. And then through the rest of tonight, a few lingering showers, and then we clear on out as we go through early Friday morning. So as we go through, again, in terms of lightning, this is a really cool model I love to show. This is our in-house model showing the frequency, again, the probability of seeing strong thunderstorms. You can see a lot of yellow, a lot of oranges here over parts of Brevard and also Osceola County. Even Flagler County could see a strong storm or so. Metro area later on this evening. And then most of the shower and storm activity, as I mentioned, will be pinned along the coast heading into tonight. So those are some really cool products that we use just to kind of show what the expectation is as we go through the rest of today. But it's Mother's Day weekend, big weekend ahead. If you're planning on anything for mom, doing anything with your grandmother or anything like that, we are looking at some soggy conditions and unsettled pattern as we go through the weekend. So Saturday, scattered showers and storms. Sunday, same deal. But look at this. Area of low pressure continues to get closer and closer to us, and we're looking at a lot of rain heading our way Monday into Tuesday morning. And the rainfall forecast here, this is through the next several days. So I would say up until Monday, Tuesday at least, most spots getting between 2 to 4 inches. And then look at all of that red on your screen. That's 5 to 7 inches of rainfall, and we certainly need it. So far for the month of May, we picked up 1.5 of rainfall here, and we're still below average. And yesterday we picked up a little over 1/4 of an inch, so the rain is certainly needed. And the latest drought monitor that actually came out early this morning, it hasn't changed since last week. So it goes to show you, even though we have been getting the rain in some areas, it's not the measurable or significant rain that we need to saturate the soil. So we're still looking at an extreme drought over parts of Lake, Marion, Volusia, Flagler County, Sumter counties, and even out in Polk County along I-4 near Lakeland, still dealing with an extreme drought as well. So we certainly need the rain. We welcome it. And it looks like for the next several days, we'll get that good dose of rainfall. So that's great news there. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Today's a weather alert day, high of 90, 70% chance for showers and storms. This is between 4 and 10. And look at the rain chances. I mean, Thomas, we haven't seen this type of forecast in quite some time with
Yeah.
these high rain chances. So this will be good for us for sure, but we still need to, again, keep a weather eye on those stronger thunderstorms.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know that we are going to be constantly monitoring this to see whatever pops up across our area. So, as we always say, be weather aware, but, it
Hmm.
shouldn't ruin your day if you have any plans. Just be cautious, when those storms are popping, stay indoors.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, as I mentioned before, this is not a complete washout. We're looking at
Hmm.
on and off showers. You get a little break and then another shower. So just make sure you have the rain gear ready. And of course, our News 6 weather app, it's free,
Of
and
course.
we're constantly updating it with the latest information.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Michelle Morgan. I appreciate your time, your expertise, and we'll check in with you again soon. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, now we're going to take a look at a story that is coming to us out of that came to us from a viewer. We got a tip that there was a woman who had her SIM card swapped out unexpectedly on her phone, giving con artists, scammers, fraudsters the opportunity to get into her personal information, gain access to her financial information. It's a problem she is still dealing with, still struggling with, and you know, it's something that could happen to any of us. She didn't fall for a scheme, she didn't fall for a scam. She was just the unlucky person who got picked. News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden has been following this story. Lewis, I watched your story. This woman, she's, like I said, she didn't fall for anything. This is just something. She's just the unfortunate victim.
And that's what's so concerning about this. You, like you said, you don't have to fall for anything. You're not tricked into anything. It's something that just happens. And, crooks have figured out a way to hijack your SIM card in your cell phone, which ultimately gives them access to everything in your phone. And as you mentioned, Thomas, a Maitland woman found out it can be difficult to deal with. Let's take a look.
First of all, they're going to hijack your phone.
When Beverly Johnson recently tried to use her phone, she got a message saying emergency calls only.
And this can happen to anybody.
When she logged into her account, she didn't see her Samsung Galaxy. Instead, there was an Apple iPhone. Her carrier told her she had been the victim of an eSIM card swap.
I mean, I kind of feel like someone has kind of taken over a portion of my life.
Embedded Subscriber Identity Module, or eSIM, is a digital SIM card built into your phone instead of a physical one. It carries an identification number unique to the owner, storing personal data and prevents the device from operating if it's removed. SIM swapping is when thieves change your cell phone SIM card via computer to go to a device in their possession.
It has been overwhelming.
Overwhelming because crooks have tapped into her device and into her financials. They hit her bank account with a $577 charge and another $1,000 charge. They charged $2,600 in gift cards. And just 2 days ago, 3 Western Union transactions, $500 a pop from her savings account.
Closing down the accounts, I did that. And I have been working on this since 4/4, and I am spending anywhere from 3 to 5 hours almost every day.
eSIM swaps. How common is this?
Very common. It's more common than people think it is.
Caroline O'Brien Buster is the special agent in charge of the U.S. Secret Service Orlando Field Office.
Like a SIM swap, people think, well, what do they want my phone for? At the end of the day, it's money, and at the end of the day, it's your bank accounts or it's your crypto accounts. It's your investments accounts. It's whatever monetary things you have connected to your phone.
Fred Sanks is a network intrusion forensic analyst with the Secret Service.
You basically have to talk to your telecommunication provider and say, what can I do to protect? What other layers of protection can I add to my account to protect my SIM card?
Sanks says different carriers have different levels of protection, like voice print analysis to verify it's actually you calling. Some offer a SIM freeze, or two-step authentication that goes to an app as opposed to a text to your phone. But it's up to you to contact your carrier.
The telecommunication providers will offer the service, but it's up to you a lot of times to sign up and add that extra layer, and I suggest that you do it.
Do you feel violated?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And so I have to tell you guys, when I reached out to the Secret Service, I had never heard of this happening. And when I called the special agent in charge, she said, this is the thing that worries her the most because, again, Thomas, as you said, you don't have to fall for anything. It can just happen.
Yeah, and you were saying that they're not even entirely sure how these, scammers, hackers, whatever you want to call them, gain access to these phones. There's a couple theories, but it's not even as simple as, you just carelessly logged onto a public Wi-Fi or something like that.
No, but there are a couple of theories. One theory is someone finds out who your cell phone carrier is, and through social engineering, they just call and pretend that they're you and request the change. Another theory that's floating around out there is that people who work for cell phone companies are taking kickbacks in order to do this. So, however it's happening, it's happening. The good news is it's relatively simple to fix it. I was so paranoid about this. As I was writing the script for this, I stopped in the middle of writing the script and listening to the interview. And I said, let me figure out how to protect myself. And literally, I did it in less than a minute. I didn't even have to call my carrier. I just went onto the app, went to security, and they have a eSIM protection spot. And my carrier offers a eSIM freeze. So with a couple of clicks, you just put a freeze, and nobody can do anything with your eSIM card, including you though. So if you decide to get a new phone, then you will have to turn that mechanism off, and it takes about 20 minutes to deactivate. But it's good protection and very simple to do.
Yeah, I mean, I was completely unaware of this even being a possibility before you and I spoke today. I mean, I just recently got a new phone, and it was such a pain just getting back into all of my accounts. I can't imagine what she's going through with someone else gaining access. And you said to me, like, even her bank's kind of giving her a second look and being like, well, how do we know for sure that this sounds awfully convenient?
Well, that one of the things that, if it happens to you, one of the things you need to do right off the bat is go get a police report. And that sort of validates what has happened to you when you go to your financial institutions and say, hey, there are all of these charges. These are not mine. So that is the first step, to file that police report, so they will believe you.
Yeah, as you said, this is ongoing. Those Western Union transfers just a couple days ago, so hopefully she can get some results and recoup some of that money. And certainly, I hope this is a wake-up call to you and I and all of our viewers that there are steps you can take to protect yourself, and better to be proactive than trying to fix it after the fact.
You know what, Thomas? I love what you just said. The point of all of these stories, okay, is not for people to look at the story and say, oh, that terrible thing happened to that woman. No, the point of the story is for you to get your ducks in the row. And now, as soon as you finish watching us, everybody needs to go on their cell phone, go to their app, and put that protection in place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something I'll be looking into probably right after this show. Lewis, thank you so much for your time. I know you have more information on clickorlando.com/investigators. We can find their full story there, and you'll be coming up tonight at 6 as well, correct?
That's right. See you at 6.
All right. Lewis, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. I really appreciate it, and I know our viewers do as well.
No problem.
All right. Excuse me. Sorry, Lewis. I thought I was cutting away from you. I was not. I apologize. As I was saying, Lewis was contacted through one of our viewers, and if you need to contact us or one of our investigators, you can head to clickorlando.com. Right on the homepage, you'll see a Contact Us tab. Click that tab, and that'll take you to our results desk. That is where you can contact us on a variety of issues, including these sorts of cases where you may have been the victim of a crime or a scheme or a scam, whatever the case may be. Again, that's clickorlando.com, and click on the Contact Us tab to reach our results desk. Moving on, yesterday we saw what could be the end of a nearly 20-long-year saga involving the Xbox murders. That was a brutal case of murder that happened in Deltona that resulted in multiple people being beaten to death. The two men who were convicted of that crime have now been sentenced to death for a second time, and this time it appears that will stick. To learn more about the crimes as they happened, we went to the person who experienced it firsthand, former Volusia County Sheriff Ben Johnson. He spoke with us about the experience of being called to the scene, going through the scene. Here's just a little bit of his interview.
Well, it's a day that you don't forget. I hadn't gone to work yet, and that was one of the days, or certain days of the week, usually Friday, that we dressed soft. And I say soft, not my uniform, because I dressed every day in a uniform, or almost every day. But on Fridays, normally we dress down. Normally it was a sheriff's shirt, a marked shirt. And that's how people would have known I was probably going to dress that day. And my chief deputy called me early, well before I left here. He says, Ben, he said, get up, get dressed, and put on a uniform. We have a murder down here, and it's bad. He said, you need to get down here. So I went to Deltona, and naturally, there was a lot of buzz already going on. We'd marshaled a lot of our forces, and they had been there for a while. And we got told that there was 6 young men and women killed, and a dog beaten to death with baseball bats. So we knew we were in for, one, not only doing our job, but having to do that tightrope of dealing with media. And when we dealt with media on that occasion, it's like one of those, it's a once in a lifetime almost sort of an event. Because we ended up with media from all over the country. It was a story all over the world. I mean, there was just TV, people that showed up, newspaper, just everybody, radio. And it was just about like a small community of media. So we knew we had a very serious crime scene and started putting things together. And actually, the case went pretty quickly because we were able to determine that there was an issue between some people and Aaron Bellinger, who was in the house of one of the victims. And it led towards Troy Victorino. And of course, Troy had been evicted from Aaron's grandmother's house. He had been squatting there. And he'd been evicted, put in jail. And of course, Aaron cleaned the house out, and she had the stuff. The stuff was there. I mean, she had the stuff. And that was what it amounted to, is the crime was done because Troy Victorino felt disrespected. That's the best word to use, felt disrespected. And he decided he was going to get even. He had to get even for whatever reason, because of what he felt his status was or whatever. But he felt like he had to get even, and he brought this group of other young men into the fold with him, and they planned this vicious murder.
Okay, you'll be able to hear much more of retired Volusia County Sheriff's Ben Johnson's interview later tonight, starting on News 6 at 4. We have much more coming up in just a few minutes, but first we're going to take a quick break. Before we go, we're going to take one last look out at the Vatican, where we are awaiting the arrival of the newly elected Pope. The papal conclave officially ended with the billowing of white smoke from the Sistine Chapel just about 30 minutes ago, and we are now awaiting the new pontiff's first appearance. As I said, we'll be taking a quick break. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. Welcome back to News 6 Extra. We are taking a live look at the Vatican right now, where we are still awaiting the arrival of the new pontiff, the new pope, who was just elected within the last half hour or so. The news came down around 12:10 this afternoon, when white smoke came billowing from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel. You can see crowds are gathered, cheering on, awaiting the arrival of the newly elected pontiff. When that happens, we will bring it to you live on air and on ClickOrlando.com. Today, we're also taking a look at an issue facing the Florida Highway Patrol. They are experiencing several shortages, lots of Sorry about that. There was a strange voice in my ear. I'm not sure where that came from. In any case, we're taking a look at shortages among the Florida Highway Patrol. They have more than 100 open positions, and money is being blamed for those shortages. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez shows us what advocates are pushing for in order to up recruitment for FHP.
The agency has been asking for higher wages for years, pointing to those openings and the exodus of troopers to other agencies, all things that can make your commute to work dangerous.
When people see troopers out on the highway, they're less likely to drive recklessly.
Much less likely. The motoring public notices the absence of troopers.
Paul Novak is a member of the Florida Highway Patrol Advisory Council. The FHP is short more than 100 troopers. Yet they're tasked with protecting Florida's 21 million residents, 140 million visitors, and 43 million miles of roads.
We have thousands of people dying on the roads every year, literally thousands. We have 8 or 9 people dying on the roads every day.
The hope is lawmakers will rethink some budget items.
This year alone, the state is spending about $15 billion on highway and road construction. And next year, it'll be another $15 billion. What it would take to fully fund the Florida Highway Patrol is a minuscule, tiny percentage of that number.
If not, he worries things will only get worse.
And if all of the troopers see this legislative session close and finish with no change in the status quo, there's a lot of people going to leave.
Novak suggested the legislature put $70 million into FHP to address staffing. Lawmakers still have to finish the budget, and they'll be back to work next week. Reporting from FHP headquarters in Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
We all know that there is a shortage of tradesmen out there. Governor Ron DeSantis has made a big show of encouraging the trades and trade education here in Central Florida and across the state. Now, Valencia College is celebrating the graduation of its first graduating class of new plumbers. News 6's Mark Lehman was there for the ceremony.
You're looking at the first students to graduate from Valencia College's Accelerated Plumbing Technician program. Perhaps the most excited is Eve Servius.
It felt unbelievable. Like, when I was on the way here, I was kind of crying on the bus. Like, here, it's crazy.
It's been a difficult journey for Eve, who was homeless just 6 months ago, until his friend convinced him to pursue the 10-week program.
I was sleeping in my car. This was back in November. And he told me to come in, to move in with him, because he didn't like how I was just outside like that. So
Eve has since learned several skills, setting himself up with several job offers right off the bat.
Like, I know how to build everything, from the showers to the tubs to the sink, everything.
And this was all in 10 weeks?
Yeah, like I learned it fast.
Valencia's program was launched through a $500,000 grant from the Lowe's Foundation.
It's a critical need right now. The demand continues to grow, especially here in Florida.
With a critical shortage of skilled trade workers, Governor DeSantis launched an initiative in 2019 to make Florida the leader in workforce education by 2030.
We want to support infrastructure projects, and we want to support workforce development and skills-based education.
And programs like this one can go a long way toward filling that need.
It's really about leveraging. It's about bringing all the partner strengths together to really make an impact, and today we did.
The impact felt in each student, including Eve, who can't wait to start this next chapter of his life.
I feel like everything happened perfectly for my life to fall into place, so I can focus and see the real vision that God has for my life.
In Orange County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
That seems like a really great program. That'll do it for us here on Take 6. Not Take 6, News 6 Extra. We appreciate your time. Again, we are awaiting the arrival of the newly elected Pope. The papal conclave ended with the billowing of white smoke from the Sistine Chapel just about 45 minutes ago now. A little less than an hour, at least. And we are awaiting the arrival of the new pontiff. He is set to make his first appearance any minute now. When it happens, we will bring it to you live on air and on clickorlando.com. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and have a pleasant day.